and welcome to The Impact with Robin Dorsey, where we will feature some extraordinary individuals. I am your host, Robin Dorsey. Thank you for joining us. Today's show features the extraordinary Laura Poindexter. Laura Poindexter is a Christian poet and a spoken word artist. Laura is also the executive producer and founder of the Literary Corner, Blog Talk Radio, and CEO of Laura's Entertainment Consulting Services. As the executive producer and host of the Literary Corner, Blog Talk Radio, Laura pays it forward by giving aspiring artists, new business, and nonprofit organizations the opportunity to shine by providing them with exposure and publicity through her Blog Talk Radio platform. Her exceptional marketing skills, ability to make the right connections, and her insurmountable faith in the face of adversity has initiated major growth for her BTR station. The Literary Corner has grown from 1 day a week to 3 days per week, with various guest hosts, and is also a contributing editor for the Unsung Poets section of the Divine Voice magazine, based in Atlanta, Georgia. The Divine Voice is a thriving Christian lifestyle magazine which has featured some of the best in the Christian entertainment. Laura is truly remarkable. She has numerous talents and gifts. Growing up in Harlem, New York, she had the tough and daring at a young age. However, she knew that life had so much more to offer. Unfortunately, to get this truth, she had to hit rock bottom and overcome several drug addictions. Although it was hard, and at times it seemed that life had given up on her, but God had a bigger and better plan on the horizon for this superstar. Realizing her life was spiraling in the wrong direction, she began writing about her pain as an outlet. Beyond her wildest dreams, she did not know that just over the mountaintops, those same writings would become her deliverance and healings and help others deal with their pain as well. When we come back, we will talk to Laura Poindexter.
We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us, Laura Poindexter. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much, Robin, for having me. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Thank you.
And before we get started, I have something for you.
Okay.
Read the card later because it's mushy.
Okay.
Okay, but thank you so much for being an inspiration.
Thank you.
And always supporting me.
Okay.
And I don't want my makeup to run, but this is for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open. Let everybody see.
Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you so much. Laura, you are a person with great passion. When did you realize you had the gift of spoken word?
I've always been a really good writer. Always historically been a good writer, even academically a good writer.
Okay.
But I did not know I had the gift of spoken word until I had no other words to speak. Yeah, I had suffered an anomaly of events in 2010
Okay.
with an extraction, a really high-profile job,
Okay.
divorce, foreclosure, repossession. Everything was being taken away. And I am a fighter.
Okay.
And I fought to keep those things, but the harder I fought, the more exhausted I became. And I lost my voice
Okay.
to some extent. And that's when my poetry voice was birthed. Trust me, it wasn't an easy process, but yeah, that's when I discovered I had the gift of spoken word.
Okay. When you began, what did you initially start writing about? What was the first words that you committed to paper?
Oh my goodness. I never forget when I first started writing, believe it or not, I wrote about 30 poems consecutively. But God had been asking me to write.
Okay.
And I would refuse. It was an all-out refusal because I didn't understand what writing had to do with me getting a job or keeping my home or taking care of my family. I didn't make the connection. So it wasn't until I conceded that stuff began to pour out of me. Of course, I had to go back and refine it and make sure everything was grammatically correct. However, the first, and people wouldn't believe it, literally 30 poems. And it was a dialogue to God about what had happened. And this was now around 2.5 years into losing everything.
Okay.
And I ranted, and he would answer me back.
Okay.
And that basically was my first writings. It was, who do you think you are? And I was asking God, who do you think you are? And his response was, I am God. And so the first poem was in 2 parts, my ranting to God and him responding to me.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
And scary.
Yes, all at the same time. Who is your favorite poet?
Believe it or not, my favorite poets would probably be rappers.
Okay.
Yeah, coming from Harlem and growing up with real hip hop. I don't want anybody don't Facebook me or anything like that. Don't social media me.
Social media.
Yeah, don't social media me. But like Mos Def, Common.
Okay.
I actually was a big Run DMC fan because they were able to take hip hop and infuse it with rock, and they did the crossover with it. But from a poet standpoint, it probably would be Nikki Giovanni. She's a great writer.
Absolutely.
She's profound, but she's also very playful.
Yes.
You know, she's very whimsical with her writing. So from that standpoint, it probably would be Miss Giovanni.
Wow, and she is definitely an extraordinary individual as well.
Absolutely.
You have provided a platform for aspiring artists, poets, and other talents. Can you tell us briefly about that?
Absolutely. I guess that actually was birthed from the Literary Corner. The Literary Corner is my Blog Talk Radio, and that's where it started. And it started just having that commitment to poets and poetry.
Okay.
And it just started growing. It just started growing like crazy.
Okay.
And poets would come to me and talk about representation and publishing and stuff like that. And then I would get just a lot of people saying, you know, who are you, where did you come from, and how did you do it?
Okay.
And so I decided that I would actually do Laura's entertainment consulting.
Okay.
My background prior to doing any of this was actually contract deliverables. So it worked for me. And so I just started to talk to people, talk about, you know, what is it that you aspire to do?
Okay.
And I would talk to them not so much about the show part, but more about the business part. Because they had the talent. They didn't know a lot about business, and that's why they kept running into a lot of brick walls.
Right.
And so that's kind of how Laura's Entertainment Consulting got birthed.
Tell us what it means to you to be able to give back and help others' dreams come true.
That's always been big for me. Health and Human Services is something that I'm passionate about. I'm a recovering addict. I will have 30 years clean and sober in July of this year.
Congratulations. I know it was hard.
So giving back has always been something that I've been passionate about.
Okay.
That's never been difficult for me.
Okay.
The difficult part was making a decision in my mind that I could also help people that weren't in such disparaging situations.
Okay.
Like prior to doing what I'm doing now, it was homelessness, substance abuse, mental health, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I kind of felt guilty because I felt like, am I really helping people? Like, and so that was a big struggle for me.
Okay.
But I am helping people. It's just in a different arena. And I am a woman of a certain age.
And you look very beautiful.
Thank you. And I just wanted to do something for me and help people at the same time. And that's what I'm doing now. The other stuff, I was giving all of me. I was younger and I had it to give. Now I want to be able to give and live at the same time.
So your deliverance is your healing.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You have been healed from your drug addictions for over 29 years and counting. What led you down the path of drugs, and what age did you begin?
Wow. I have substance abuse on both my maternal and paternal side.
Wow.
I was raised by my paternal side of the family.
Okay.
My father died from a cocaine-induced stroke.
Wow.
His brother died from a heroin overdose, and their father died from cirrhosis of the liver due to alcoholism.
Right.
The death of my mother, I come from a two-parent household.
Okay.
And my upbringing was very, very good. I had a really good upbringing.
Right.
And at 6 years old, my mother passed away from a brain aneurysm. And I went from having my mom, my dad, I have one younger sib.
Okay.
We're all living together, to not having my mom, having to move with my grandmom because my father felt like he could not raise two young women, and to not having my father because the loss of my mother kind of sent him someplace as well.
Different place.
So it was simultaneously, like I lost both parents.
At the same time.
At the same time. I can honestly say that if I could have used drugs at 6 years old, I would have. Because there is no pain. I can't even explain any pain like losing my mom.
Right, yes.
Then at 6 years old and growing up in a Christian household, I had a huge problem with God because he's supposed to take care of me and love me. And, you know, I'm older now and I understand that death is a part of life.
Absolutely.
At 6 years old, you don't know that death is a part of life.
Right.
I was very angry about the loss of my mother, and I started using when I was 14 years old. And I started with alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, crack cocaine. And
so it progressed.
Oh,
you started
absolutely.
out with one poison to continue on because it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. I was very, very angry all the time because of the loss of my mom. And African American families are doing better with understanding the importance of therapy and it having its place.
Right.
Then therapy, you don't go to therapy.
Absolutely.
African American people take what they get and they keep on pushing. And, you know, we don't have time to grieve.
That's right.
You know, that is something that is not afforded to us because we have to continue to pay the bills.
That's right.
We got to continue to take care of our families. We don't have the luxury of therapy. We have to make it. And that's what my family did. They wanted to make it. And make no mistake about it, I danced at the Dance Theater of Harlem. You know, I didn't want for anything. I didn't want for anything. And there was no lack of love in my home. We were very dysfunctional. Because we did not identify the brokenness.
Right.
And so not identifying the brokenness and moving on and then experiencing other brokenness and other things, it's very difficult to mature and grow and develop in a healthy manner if you continue to impact life on top of brokenness.
Yeah.
Because life is inconsistent.
Very much so.
unpredictable.
Yes, it is.
And so you continue to move on, and you have this facade, and you go to work, and you pay the bills, and you do all the things that you're supposed to do every day with the brokenness. I said, I ain't doing none of that mess. I'm going to get high.
So it was a conscious choice. You chose.
I chose to
do this. It wasn't peer pressure that chose you down this path. This was something that you made a conscious effort to do because you saw it in the home, and you wanted to experience it for yourself, and you thought that would free you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, drugs do what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
Life doesn't necessarily do it. Life is drugs do what they're supposed to do, and that's what I explained. A lot of people drugs are going to do, when you buy that, it's going to do what it says it's going to do. People might say one thing and do something else.
Right.
Life may show up unpredictable, but when you go to use, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Okay.
And so, but I'm not recommending that as a way
Absolutely.
I'm not recommending that
Yes.
as a therapy, and I feel very fortunate because I was able to at least stop the cycle with me.
Okay.
But I lost so many people
in the process. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you realize you hit rock bottom and knew that you had to make a change?
I didn't realize it. My family, my maternal side of the family, they're all from Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
And my aunt is a minister. And we had always had a close relationship with this particular sister. My mom had other sibs. With this particular sister, we were really, really close with. And she came to visit New York, and she saw me. And I was in a really wretched state. And she offered to bring me to Baltimore. And I'm like, lady, you got to be kidding me. Like, no, I'm not going to Baltimore. Like, no. And so the realization, you know that you're in a bad place.
Okay.
You don't know how to get out. You feel like you're so far removed. You're so far away from what life should be that you really don't know how to get out. That is rock bottom. It's like, I can't go any further down, and I don't even know how to get out.
And did you want to get out at that time?
I believe that there were some parts of me that knew I had to.
Okay.
But I don't know, I can't honestly say that I wanted to.
At that time?
Because I did know that coming out was going to mean I would have to deal with life without drugs.
Yes.
And so she made that offer, that appealed to me, and I told her, I flipped her the bird. I'm like, we're not doing any of that.
Okay.
And she did not take no for an answer, thank God.
Good. Absolutely.
And I relocated to Baltimore.
Okay.
And relocated to Baltimore, and my life changed. And her sisters had daughters, and a lot of them were my age, and they were not addicted to drugs, and they were living life on life's terms. And they were a great source of support for me.
Okay.
And I was in a different environment.
Okay.
So that was huge for me. Of course, I could have gotten high.
Okay.
In Baltimore.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. However,
but you chose.
I chose not to.
Because you needed a change, and you wanted to make that change.
Right. Okay. So that's kind of like when the change began for me, when I relocated from New York to Baltimore. Okay. I don't know if I realized it. It's kind of, sort of.
Right.
But I just didn't know how to actually make the transition.
Okay.
If
you had to do any one thing differently, what would it be?
I would probably have demanded that my family pay attention to my pain.
Okay.
I would have told them to stop being so selfish.
Okay.
And so self-centered, and I don't care if you didn't want to get therapy.
That's right.
I need some damn therapy.
Okay.
But I probably would have demanded them to pay attention to what I was going through.
Okay.
That's what I would have did different.
So you were secretly crying out for help, but because they didn't pay attention at that time, they couldn't hear your cries.
They couldn't. They had their own stuff.
Okay. What is the one thing you would like the world to know about Laura Poindexter?
Just one?
Yeah, I'll give them one for now.
Just one. I am very, very tenacious.
Okay, I love it.
There is something about the human spirit. No matter where I found myself, there has always been something inside of me that's wanted to live. Even live through the drug addiction, through the death, through the disparity, through the divorce, through the foreclosure. There is something in me that wants to live.
That was the God in you.
Hey now,
He
hey
knew
now.
He had a higher plan for you. You are an amazing and extraordinary individual. I mean, you have overcome many feats in your life. Many people don't come back from those things, but you did, because God knew that you had a higher purpose here in this world, and He wanted you to take your pain and make a deliverance for someone else. Can you recite a poem for us here today?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. This is called All Hail to the Queen.
Okay.
All hail to the Queen. She wears the crown. Her exterior is firm and unyielding. It is her obligation to rule her sovereign nation while being cautious of the power that she is wielding. All hail to the Queen. She wears the crown jewels. She is the one who dictates. She is the one who rules. Her judgment is constantly scrutinized. She is the one who is revered as well as despised. All hail to the one who seeks the peace and the face of all inhumanity. All hail to the one who also summons war in an effort to keep her queendom free. Heavy is her head, it weighs her body down. The interchangeable platform that keeps her on top could potentially also knock her down. All hail to the Queen. She wears the crown. Her exterior is firm and unyielding. It is her obligation to rule her sovereign nation while being cautious of the power that she is wielding. Sacrificing herself for everyone else, she chooses to carry this affliction, praying that her noble self-martyrdom will at least be mentioned at her benediction. Undeniably donning a permanent frown, expressly, understandably turned upside down. All hail to the Queen. I wear the crown, and heavy will be my head until they place me in the ground.
Wow, that was phenomenal. You are an extraordinary woman, and I thank you, for being a part of this show, to providing the platform that you are to other aspiring artists, to making a difference, and to being the person that you are, because God chose you for this platform, and you are seeing your dreams come true. Today, you learned about the extraordinary Laura Poindexter. Now that her past is behind her, she is now able to fulfill the mission God set forth for her. Thank you for tuning in to The Impact with Robin Dorsey. For more information about Laura Poindexter or to be a featured guest on The Impact with Robin Dorsey, visit our website at www.robindorsey.com.